What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you haven't seen any of my first few videos, my name is AJ and this is my 2002 Mustang GT. In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything that is about to be done to the car. And if you want to know what's on the car currently, you should go check out my very first video. It's titled, How I Got 300 Horsepower Out of My New Edge Mustang. And it'll tell you everything that I've done to the car up until this point. As of right now, the car does make about 315 horsepower and 330 foot-pounds of torque. And I'm aiming after this part of the build to be a little over 400 horsepower, which should be pretty attainable, but you never know. With that being said, there were a lot of doubters on my 300 horsepower video saying there's no way that it's over 300 horsepower and you're probably making like 280. So while I was making my last video installing my seats, I actually found my dyno sheet. And there it is. As you can see right there, max horsepower 314 horsepower and max torque 331 foot-pounds of torque. There's the power curve. This is obviously pretty crumpled. It was sitting in my door panel for a while, but all right, with that being said, let's get into some of the supporting mods that'll be done in order to handle this much power. So one of the first things, finally getting some new tires on this. I've had these Continental Extremes for as long as I've had the car, which is probably 5 or 6 years now, and they are finally on their last leg. So now I'm switching over to Nitto NT555 G2s. They are slightly bigger than the Extremes that I have on. They are 295 40 18s, and they should be able to handle this much power fairly easily. A couple other things that I'm doing is I'm switching out my clutch and flywheel. I am running a McLeod lightweight flywheel right here. It's a 6-bolt. And the clutch I'm going to be running is the McLeod RST twin disc 800 horsepower organic clutch kit. And it looks pretty fucking cool if you ask me. I already have a stage 1 XD clutch in there, but it only is rated for, I think, 350 horsepower. But this should easily handle anything that I ever throw at it if it's rated for 800 horsepower. If I ever do supercharge or turbo this car, it's probably only going to make 600 to 700 wheels, so this clutch should easily handle the life of this car, I would assume. And the other reason I got this clutch is it's supposed to be really streetable and feel almost like stock, which is the big thing for me, because this is going to be basically just a street car. I will take it to the strip a few times, but mostly just a fun street car that I'll take to shows and occasionally do a few pulls. Alright, so it's actually been a few weeks since I filmed what you just saw. A couple of shipping mishaps, but everything is finally here. But yeah, the internals are in, so let's go ahead and open the box and see what they look like. I believe this is the pistons in this box. Yeah, looks like it. Go ahead and open it over here. There it is. These are Manley forged pistons. They are the bore 30 over pistons, and they're also 23cc dish pistons. The idea behind that was if I had gotten flat top pistons, it would have been something close to a 12-to-1 compression ratio. And again, I do plan on supercharging this someday, so the ideal compression ratio is about 9-to-1, and this brings it down to a 9.3-to-1, I believe. Everything I ordered in this box is from Mod Max Racing. They sell a lot of stroker kits and forged internal kits. They sell OEM pistons, cranks, all that stuff. So, in that first box was the pistons. And this second box, they do have the option to get your own steel rings. Next box, there's 2 boxes of bearings, I believe. This one is just, that's the first box. And the second box. I'm not the most knowledgeable guy when it comes to building engines and internals and all that, but I'm assuming one set of bearings is for the pistons and the rods, and the other set is for the crank. And this last box full of manly parts is the connecting rods. I got forged H-beam rods. Definitely way more sturdy than the OEM rods. For those of you that don't know, the stock rods on a Mustang for this year, they usually only hold up to a little over 400 horsepower and 4 foot-pounds of torque. So that is one of the first mods you should be doing if you plan on getting above that horsepower mark. Alright, so in this last box right here was the crankshaft. It is Mod Max's very own 4340 forged crankshaft. I don't know, I don't know too much about cranks or anything, but it definitely looks like it'll be way more aggressive, be able to handle a lot more power, and should also sound a lot better too. Alright, so it's actually been a little over a year since I filmed what you just saw. There's been a few changes. The first one being that the first machine shop I went to ended up overboring one of the cylinders a little bit, so I no longer have the original block with it. That ended up being a blessing though, because I found an aluminum block for only like $100. So I got an aluminum block out of an 05, I believe it was a Navigator, which is the WAP block, which is sorry, I had to move inside because they're doing some excavation work next door or something. There's a lot of explosions going on. So, as I was saying, I got the WAP block out of an 05 Navigator. They're actually rated to like 1200 horsepower, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to get anywhere near that, but it's good to know that I have something that is able to handle that much power. Alright, it's been a while since I've done this, and all of my cameras are dead because it's been like 2 years since I've done anything like this. But a couple of the changes I was trying to say before my cameras all died. A couple of the changes I've made are actually on the outside of the car. I'll back up real quick. Got some new OEM clear lens with a painted background. They actually look way better than my other ones. The other ones were kind of tacky, the Halo ones I had. Rear tires are on as well. Looks much better. Should be able to handle anything I throw at it way better than my bald Continentals I had. Under the hood, I actually swapped out my subframe for a BMR tubular K member. Lots more space in here. These headers should actually be able to fit now. I can't really show you over here, but there's a big dent right there. That's from it leaning on the other subframe I had. Hopefully it's not going to cause any problems with airflow at some point, but I didn't discover it until about a week ago, and I already have it scheduled to go in tomorrow. So the other thing that I changed in here, I can't really jack it up right now, I'm running out of time before the tow truck gets here, but changed out the A-arms. They are also BMR tubular they are also BMR tubular A-arms. And I think that's about it for the engine bay. Alright, now on the inside of the car, not that you guys really care about it right now because you're here for the stroker build I'm doing, but swapped out all of the side panels. These were silver and cracking. I actually think I have the old ones. I have the old one still in the car right now, but as you can see, really faded and gross. And instead of just painting them, I decided to go ahead and get all new, I think they're charcoal door inserts. And also in the center console here, that the AC bezel, this is just a not painted one, and it actually looks basically the same as the shifter bezel, so that's cool. All in all, I think between switching from the iron block to the aluminum block and also swapping out the K member from the regular subframe to a tubular K member, probably lost, I'd say, about like 150, 200 pounds in the front end. And also between swapping out the seats, getting rid of the rear seat, probably a total of, you know, 200 to 300 pounds. So this thing should be able to rip in the streets. And I think that's about it for new stuff. I was going to show you the block, but it looks basically the exact same as my old block. Still have the same valve cover, same timing cover. I ordered a new intake manifold, but everything is so far out that that's actually not supposed to be here for like 4 or 5 months, so I might put it in at the end of the summer, or I might just wait until next spring and then put it on the dyno in the spring when it's put in. I think that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. I know I'm not the best at describing everything or remembering to mention everything that's been done, so go ahead and leave any questions you have in the comments below. Next video should be a first start, and I won't be able to drive it much because it's not going to be tuned for a little bit. I still have to make the appointment for the dyno session, but I didn't want to because every step of this has been quite the adventure and taken, you know, 4 or 5 weeks to do. So yeah, first start, next video. And if you want to see me do more videos, please hit that subscribe button. I'm doing a full series on this stroker build between, you know, first start, dyno, just a full-on ride-along video, and